What is up? Here's the Deal podcast listeners. Hey, want to let you know something very special. Whether you're watching on YouTube or you are listening on your very favorite podcast listening platform, want to let you know, spoiler alert today. As a parent of little kids, spoiler alerts sometimes are helpful, and we are going to be talking about Santa today and all the things about Santa. And so want you guys to know that when we talk about Santa, we will be talking about the full breadth of the Santa conversation. I do not want to ruin or make Christmas with this one singular podcast. So we are warning you beforehand, and we are letting you know duly, rightly, right now, if you have children in the car. Spoiler alert. Welcome to the show. What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us for the Here's the Deal podcast. My name's Dominic, and I'm grateful that you're here on this wonderful, snowy December morning. It's not snowing. It's raining right now. It's very wet outside. It's gross, and nobody enjoys it. But someone who made it through the rain to join us this morning is my friend and co-host, Kyle King. Kyle King.
Welcome in, everyone.
Welcome, Kyle. Have you been trapped by sin?
It is raining today. I have been trapped by sin, but then Jesus
figured out the code.
Changed everything.
You're wearing your trapped escape room.
316. That's every code in the escape game was 316.
Kyle, for those of you who do not know, Kyle actually worked for trapped escape rooms. And so if you need somebody to create an escape room for you or your friends, Kyle is for hire.
Yeah.
And Kyle also helped us win reverse charades yesterday.
Ooh, did you see the glow of victory on our faces?
To destroy the women.
Got together with our entire staff, our deacons, our elders for like our Christmas party. And
we always have fun.
We have a little tradition of playing reverse charades, the men versus the women. And
the way it should be.
We went into it last night with the men went in with a 5-year winning streak.
Yeah,
going
5
to number
years.
6, and we got it.
5 times 365. That's 1,000,000 days of winning.
Still riding that high right now. It felt good.
The way you said hot cocoa
at the buzzer.
Right at the buzzer to win it all.
I mean, I won the MVP. I'm not gonna.
It was a big deal.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I said
hot cocoa, and the buzzer went off. It was the Steph Curry of reverse
Jesus
charades.
is the real MVP. But yeah, it came down to us, and we had the girls put up a strong 6. We needed 6 to tie, 7 to win, and at the buzzer,
you hit 7.
Got hot cocoa. Whew.
It was a good time,
man.
But you know what else is a good time?
What's that?
Fun games during podcast.
Yeah.
And we did this back in March.
Are we bringing this back?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do...
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Saint Nick or Ain't Nick.
I almost thought you were going to say Patrick, because St. Patrick or Ain't Patrick.
The last time we did this was St. Patrick or Ain't. That was one of my first episodes.
Yep, St. Patrick or Ain't Patrick, and now we're
St.
back.
St. Patrick or Ain't Patrick, and to be honest, we're running out of saints.
I was named after St. Dominic. St. Dominic or Ain't Dominic.
Is there a St. Kyle? I'll have to look that up.
Probably not.
Probably not. Not yet.
Yeah. Give it a couple more
step 1.
Reverse charades.
Reverse charades. We're getting there. Yeah. So you heard in the spoiler that we are talking Santa Claus today. We'll get to Santa Claus, but we're going to start with old St. Nicholas.
Yep. Patron saint of Santa.
Got a few. We're going to go down here, and we'll see how many you guys can play along at home. This is about the historical figure, St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas.
Real person here. And... So, yeah, we'll run down and you just say true or false. St. Nicholas was born in modern-day Turkey.
True.
True. He was born in Patera.
Patera. I tore my patera tendon.
Which is now modern-day Turkey. I wonder if he's got anything to do with Thanksgiving.
Oh, my goodness. We've been doing the wrong holiday.
We've been doing the wrong holiday. Number 2, St. Nicholas punched a heretic during a church council meeting.
Oh, this is hard. False. He slapped him. But true that he did it.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. He slapped
According to tradition, Nicholas struck Arius during the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD over theological disputes.
Yes.
Don't mess with Nicholas.
Yeah.
Number 3, you're 2 for 2. Good job. St. Nicholas is the patron saint of pirates.
Unless they were like in the Mediterranean, I'm going to say false.
It is false, but he is the patron saint of sailors. So a little bit.
Hey, the Navy.
Yeah.
Thank you for defending our land.
Ahoy. All right. Up next. St. Nicholas once saved 3 young girls from being sold into slavery by providing dowries to their father in the form of gold coins.
True. And he threw them
very specific.
And he threw them through the window into their shoes or their stockings.
He did. This is one of the most famous legends of St. Nicholas. Yep. Giving gold to a poor man so he could pay his daughters off and get them married.
Yeah. The good old days.
Yeah. All right, moving along. You're perfect. 4 for 4. St. Nicholas is credited with inventing the candy cane.
No, that's
taking little candy things and rolling them up.
No, that's not true. That was Willy Wonka.
True. Candy cane has no direct link to St. Nicholas. Has nothing about Willy Wonka.
Okay, so I was right.
You were right.
Because you just said true.
Sorry. That was
false. True.
Your statement of false was a true statement. So you're 5 for 5. How are y'all doing at home? Good. Number 6. He resurrected 3 children who had been butchered and pickled in barrels. A little gruesome there.
It is a legend, but it is true.
Yeah. This says it's true. That's what I mean.
He did not do that.
This.
I'm gonna have to say, but that would make the Santa thing horrifying. I mean, just like, oh man, leave your pickled, butchered kids on their bed, and maybe Santa, when he gets there, will resurrect them.
St. Nicholas was next question. St. Nicholas was known from jumping from rooftop to rooftop, passing gifts to poor families.
False.
That's false.
No way.
No such event ever occurred.
Yeah.
That we know of.
Yeah.
I mean, who are they to say?
Speculation.
All right. St. Nicholas is the inspiration for Santa Claus.
True.
That is true. Modern Santa Claus figure derives from the Dutch Sinterklaas.
Sinterklaas.
I'm pretty sure I said that exactly right.
Yeah.
Which is based on St. Nicholas.
Yeah.
Couple more here. St. Nicholas was born on Christmas Day.
False.
That is false.
Hey!
He was born on March 15th, close to old St. Patrick.
Yeah. So, is that all of them? How many
One more.
Okay. Can I pull the Kyle King and go perfect?
Mr. Clutch here, ice in your veins. You're 9 for 9. St. Nicholas's bones are believed to have healing properties.
True.
It is true.
Boom!
His relics are housed in Bari, Italy, and they are said to exude a liquid called manna. So give me some of that St. Nick manna.
Yeah. Hey, some bone marrow, baby.
Forget Strokes Gained. We're going to get some St. Nick manna juice.
Manna juice. It
From
comes
his
out of his bones.
Bone juice.
I mean, isn't that just
Is that the candy cane?
No,
His
I
little
think that's how it
bones?
started. I mean, what?
And maybe it's eggnog.
Oh, dude, that's 100% what it was. They milked his bones until he got eggnog out of them. Isn't that
Saint
bone
Nick
marrow?
bones.
Yeah. You just steep it in some water and boil it.
Woo.
Boiled custard comes out of that sucker.
Well, that was the 2024 edition of Saint Nick or Aint Nick.
That's
we could
good.
probably resurrect this every year.
I would say so.
Resurrect is the perfect word when you're talking about bone juice.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, 100%.
Anyway, so y'all got a whole year to freshen up on your St. Nicholas facts. I'm sure there's a lot more out there.
Yeah.
But that was good, 10 for 10.
Yeah,
You're a
thank you.
St. Nick expert.
Yes, I am. That leads me to be able to say whatever I want and it be true about the next subject that we're talking about St. Nicholas. Now, when it comes to Santa, spoiler! When it comes to Santa, did you do Santa growing up? Like, did you? Is that part of your life? Tell me about it.
We did.
Because you lived in Maine and
Princess Anne.
You lived at Princess Anne's house in Maine, and things are different up there.
Maryland, not Maine.
Maryland.
I
Okay.
didn't even catch that error.
And so you lived in Maryland, and you guys can't build a bridge but can you keep Santa alive? And what did that look like? Give us the quick
rundown.
glimpse.
Yeah. Well, growing up, we celebrated Christmas, and gifts on Christmas morning would magically appear. They were not there. Come on, bust that bubble. Gifts would magically appear on December the 25th. They were not there December the 24th. At some point along, so it was assumed that Santa Claus brought them.
Right.
That was what was told us, and we ran with it.
And why would you have any reason to believe anything else? Because your parents are lying to you.
When I was 32.
Yeah.
No, at some point, I think we realized probably, we were talking about this last night. I can't remember the exact moment that I figured out that those gifts were not magically appearing, but it probably was somewhere around the time that like
were driving.
It would get to be that I found the gifts like the week before in mom and dad's closet, and I was like, well, there's these gifts. Let me wait and see if they somehow end up under the tree, and they did. And I don't remember it crushing my soul. I'll be honest.
Well, then you and I had two totally different
I
experiences.
said that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was probably, I don't even remember. I can't put an age on it. Somewhere between the ages of 5 and 8, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure before 5, I was still all about it.
I remember financially it was a difficult time for our family. Our family, and as a result, Christmas was not necessarily always going to be one filled with lots of different presents. But I remember that I loved chocolate milk, and so every year, and it was very strange that we didn't get a new cooler, but Santa would get one of our existing coolers and put a gallon of chocolate milk in there for me. And then one year I got a Fat Boy bike, and that was the brand, but I felt like it was a slap in the face.
Was it B-O-I?
No,
Boy?
it was Fat B-O-Y.
Why?
It was just a statement of slander, and I felt it. And so I remember vividly either getting chocolate milk or a Fat Boy bike, and I felt like one obviously led to the other when I was getting a gallon of chocolate milk. And my two older brothers, who were 9 and 10 years older than I was, they would make sure I would stay in my room, because if I saw either Santa or the presents before everybody else went out, they would all be taken away from. I mean, there was a lot of fear, and so all the presents would be taken. And so I was not able to walk out of my room on Christmas morning until my parents woke up.
Until the new year.
And it was awful. And then I remember being probably older than I should have been. But I didn't go look in my parents' closets. I didn't know what was in there. And I was probably a little bit older than I should have been when I got a guitar for Christmas. Money was looking up. And I was like, I'm in a guitar for Christmas. And I remember vividly talking to my brother's girlfriend at the time, who's now his wife, Lauren, and said, look at this guitar I got for Christmas. And she said, and I quote, yeah, I heard you were getting that. And I said, how could you hear that unless you have spoken to Santa? And I went, that's it. And from that moment on, I did not believe. And it ruined everything for me. And honestly, took a sharp turn. And at that point, I went, what else has my entire family lied to me about? And I was like, okay, let's do this. Like, what have they lied to me about now? Now, this is just my own personal journey with Santa. But it messed me up. I did not like the fact that people were lying to me for no good reason. So I had some trust issues.
Sure.
So then it came to now, Kyle, now that you have dogs of your own,
yep,
and I have children of my own,
yeah, do
you do Santa with your dogs?
No.
Okay. We have chosen not to do Santa with our children.
Yeah, okay.
But we also know
that's a probably a minority take.
It is. Trust me.
Even within the church, like within
my family.
Yeah, in all seriousness, like I don't know if maybe like one other family I can think of that doesn't do it. Talk through that. What was was that something y'all?
Yeah, we sat down
came up with as you were married, or you just waited till you had kids and then figured it out?
We got married, and
what was Meredith's upbringing?
They did Santa, I guess, too.
Okay, sure, okay.
But it was always weird because her parents were divorced, and at one house they would wrap the gifts, and one house they wouldn't, and so Santa had a little bit of it. And so, but she did Santa as well. And when we got to the point, I was just like, when we found out we were pregnant and we were going to be having babies near Christmas, we just had a conversation, and I was like, I don't want to do Santa. I don't ever want to do Santa. And my reasoning for doing Santa was probably a little bit too much for that. Meaning this is like, I was probably a little, not arrogant, but just like, I don't want to have to look my kids in the eye when one day they find out, and then I say, yeah, we've lied to you every single day.
Yeah.
We've lied to you, and we've also told you that if you're disobedient, then you will not get what is promised to
Using
you.
it as that leverage.
And I didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to look my kids in the eyes and them go, okay, so you've lied to me to manipulate my behavior for years. What about Jesus? Like, what are we talking about Jesus? Is Jesus is good, right? And I'm like, I've only lied to you about this thing.
Right.
And so we chose to not do that. Now, is there a direct link to that? Probably not. I didn't struggle with if Jesus was real.
Yeah.
But I just was like, no, I work pretty hard to buy those presents. And if I don't want no person who sneaks into your house. I always thought the idea of Santa was very strange too, that he sneaks into your house. If you don't have a chimney, he's making a chimney.
Yep.
And he's going to get in there and put presents out. No, mom and dad bought those presents. But even in my own family, people have rebelled against our way of doing things, and my mom still puts presents from Santa. And my kids have grown up, and if you were to ask my kids right now, is Santa real? My kids would go, no, he is not real. And I said, but do we ruin that truth for other people? And they go, no.
Yeah.
And so my kids are not Christmas ruiners. They will literally just sit there and be quiet.
Going around town.
They will just sit there and be quiet. And I'm waiting for the day they accidentally break the news. But
yeah. Well, that's good.
yeah.
I can appreciate that take.
Yeah, so we do not do Santa, but you can ask my kids who St. Nicholas is, and they can tell you who he was and what he did. Now, especially now, you look around and I don't know, have you heard about this Krampus guy from Germany? Krampus?
Yeah.
It's like demon who will like kill you.
He's like the anti-Santa.
I mean, he is horrifying. I mean, it can get really, really dark with some of this stuff. At least our Santa has a big belly and gives gifts. Krampus is horrifying.
Yeah.
A couple of people I know went to Krampus parades. Just horrifying.
It's just our culture trying to spruce something up and make it.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
And so,
our Santa Claus, based off of Saint Nicholas, is I mean, you can get more into the history now of it. I was just playing the fun game, but I mean, you got some of the facts there. He's an actual person who lived. He was a bishop in the Catholic Church, and he was known for his generosity. He'd go around and just give out money to poor families. That's kind of where this idea started.
He had some wealth to him, and he would care for people. We do celebrate St. Nicholas Day in our family. And so with that, one of the things is about the dowry for the girls, that he threw up these sacks of gold coins and was able to help this family.
Yeah.
Well, we even, like just a few days ago, our kids put their boots out. And we put these chocolate gold coins, like you can get from Cracker Barrel in the little bag.
Yeah.
And we put those in their shoes.
Tasty.
But it's also an opportunity for us to go, like, we give to other people.
Yeah.
Not that St. Nicholas did that. They know that we did that. But it's a way for us to celebrate and go through the history of what even this Christmas time really means when we talk about Santa Claus and how St. Nicholas was even better than Santa Claus. It sounds like we're talking about the Bible. He's the better Santa. And so, but St. Nicholas, yes, a godly man who loved Jesus and fought for Jesus, and not just like a surface level Christian. He cared
physically fought.
Yes. And one of the things that is said about him, which some people say they've debunked, but I don't know, I wasn't there.
It was like the Will Smith of 325 AD.
Yes, in 325 AD, when the Council of Nicaea met in Nicaea, the city of Nicaea, which is in modern-day Turkey, and they've renamed it, and they believe the church in which it was held is now underwater.
Oh, that's good.
When they met to kind of codify their beliefs, especially amid what was great heresy in the time of the church.
A lot of different non-biblical Jesus ideas started to spring up, and all the church leaders had to get together and kind of nip this in the bud.
Yes, and Arius, who was kind of the main guy, who was a song leader, boo.
Arius, boo.
and who was one of the main guys in this, who was a song leader teaching kids false theology about who Jesus was, as he is in the teaching of that Jesus was the pinnacle of God's creation, but not God himself.
Right.
And like I've always said, if God is Coke, Jesus is Diet Coke or Coke Zero, is what the Arian view was. And they got together at the Council of Nicaea under the leadership of Constantine, who wanted to put all this stuff together. And they get together and they debate and they put it to rest that Jesus is God.
Yeah.
That if you've seen Jesus, you've seen the Father, because they are one. That the Father, Son, and Spirit are three co-equal parts of the Trinity, yet they are individual persons, part of one body of the Trinity. That God doesn't morph into the form of Jesus. There's no modalism there. It is that they are perfectly three in one, which is mind-blowing to try to comprehend.
Can't say we understand it all, but that is
by
what
faith we trust and by what the Word says.
Yeah.
That's what we've seen. So we are Trinitarian in nature. And so it debunked, even in the Nicene Creed itself, it debunked Arius, his entire thing, and they basically then ruled he is a heretic. And it said that in the midst of these conversations and in the midst of all these disputes, that St. Nicholas gets so mad because he is trying to defend this heresy and all this heretical teaching that he gets up, walks across the room, and with an open hand. Now, I picture Santa doing this. Now, if you Google St. Nicholas, he looks nothing like Santa.
No.
But that he walks across the room and just smacks across the face this heretic.
Don't talk about my Jesus with that mouth.
And he was so adamant that he could not. And it is actually said that St. Nicholas would then go and apologize to Arius for the physical violence. But he said, I do not apologize for the defense of the gospel and who Jesus is.
Yeah. So and very passionate about the Word and Jesus and St. Nicholas.
And so when we think about this, I heard somebody say, there's a foundation. There's a website. Oh, it's a Presbyterian church called 10th Presbyterian Church, and they have an article called "The Real Saint Nick," and they said it really, really well. And they said they do not regret the ho ho hos and the big belly, and nor giving food or gifts out to people, and they don't have anything around the fat tummies or the long white beard or the rosy cheeks, and they have nothing against all that kind of stuff. But I love what they said. But I do regret the way in which the legend of Santa Claus crowds the Christ child out of Christmas. And that's one of the things about Santa. I think it's fun and you can do it and all that kind of stuff. I think it's weird you sit on his lap, but I think you can do all that. But even the man who this is named after would fight and even slap you in the face to go, no, we need to focus on Jesus for who he rightly is.
Right.
And I think that sometimes it can get credited. I was telling our students, I lived in the old city of Wuhan, China for a time with the IMB, and it was a city of 11 million people, and during Christmas time, filled to the brim with Christmas, lights, trees, and Santa and presents. And if you were to ask them, what is the meaning of Christmas? They would go, Santa Claus, or they go, Barack Obama. So it was the only two things they knew. Yeah. And so Santa Claus or Barack Obama. And so they could celebrate Christmas void of Christ.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is, and sometimes the hard thing is that I can come to America, come home, and walk around even our hometown and oftentimes see the very same thing, a Christmas void of Christ. And do I think Santa helps propagate that? I think there's people, even who sit in our churches, who love Santa a lot more than they love Jesus.
Yeah.
Because he requires nothing but simple obedience to just not being nearly as bad. And what you get is physical, tangible gifts, which are far greater in their mind than having to wait and store up treasures in heaven when you could just simply get them today. And and the idea that if you're just good, you're going to get presents. When Jesus says, no, you die to yourself, you follow after me, and what you get by faith is my presence. And you may not get anything except suffering and even martyrdom on this earth, and you may suffer greatly for my name. And so at some point, the legend of Santa becomes the antithesis to Jesus.
Yeah.
And so now, for all you guys who are listening, I'm okay with Santa. I just think that we have to be wise in how we handle Santa.
And there are certainly ways to keep the healthy balance and keep the scales where they need to be the
Kyle?
Overweight of Jesus.
How?
Let's talk about it. There are a lot of creative ways. One of those would be kind of what we're doing as a church right now, walking through an Advent season. Whereas as we count down to Christmas Day when we celebrate the birth of Jesus, that this Advent, this idea of anticipation, longing for the coming of, and so we are counting down towards celebrating the first coming of Christ, and we think about his second coming as we come. So as a church, we're going through every day in the month of December. Our staff, our deacons, are coming together to write a devotional each day that goes out to our entire church, and it's just a little snippet that helps just keep you focused. I think that's a great idea. Is if you're participating in your family worship times, you can have that reminder just constantly around everything you do, and even as you go out and buy the gifts, take the time to, if you've got kids, talk to them about the importance of, is Jesus who said it's more blessed to give than to receive. So I don't think you have to throw everything out, the whole thing, but there are ways to still go about it. I was just talking to somebody last week. Their family still does this tradition of, sounds very St. Nicholas-ish, that on Christmas Eve, they will surprise a random family with just a bunch of gifts.
Yeah.
Like a family usually has a little bit of need, and every year they will be intentional throughout the year of locating a family that they can bless at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And on Christmas Eve, they will, unbeknownst to the family, just take them gifts, do the ding dong ditch thing, and just no credit to them. They don't say who it's from or whatever.
That's awesome.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think those are good ways.
Yeah.
That if you can with your family reconcile the fact that, man, Jesus is going to be the center point of all of this, and we're gonna build some fun family traditions in that as well. Absolutely, and Christmas lends itself to have great traditions, but we cannot in our traditions and all of that miss Jesus. And I think honestly, for you to study who Saint Nicholas really is really beneficial for your family. I think it can lead to some really great gospel conversations with your kids when you look at the real Santa, the real Saint Nicholas. And so I think you can utilize that in your tool belt this Christmas season to talk through and go, how can we make Jesus the center point, the focal point of Christmas this year?
And I think what this harkens back to is maybe the wider picture of shame on us as families and shame on us as the church if this is the only time of year where we focus on Jesus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Not so much the church. That's our job to focus on Jesus throughout the year.
Right.
But families, Christian families, it's so easy to kind of just slip Jesus into Christmas because we're celebrating Jesus was born.
Yeah.
But this will help get that broader picture of Jesus as central if we continue. Are we still talking about Jesus in January? And I think, I hope we are.
Yeah. Or are we getting ready in January to go, gosh, I got to honor Santa again with all my life? Because if not, I'm going to get a lump of coal. And so, however it is that you view this, I would plead, if you've got young children, to teach them Jesus. I want them to know far more about Jesus than they do about Santa. I don't want their behavior to be modified so that Santa brings them presents. When Jesus says, no, you come to me as you are in your brokenness and your mess, I don't want them to go, well, I've got to work real hard to honor Santa. And I guess now that I'm older, I've got to work real hard to honor Jesus, or he's not going to be pleased with me. If you can change anything, let Jesus, the grace of Jesus, flood your home this Christmas season. And as you exchange presents, remember the greatest gift that was Jesus. As you share a meal, remember that Jesus shared meals with sinners, and one day we will share a great meal together. And in this time, in everyday life, but especially this season, you can turn every conversation to an awesome conversation about Jesus with your kids, and ultimately have their faith put in, when Santa's long gone in your family, that you have faith in Christ. And so, Kyle, anything else?
No. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We will
Guten Tag.
Yep, we will see you guys at other points, and we'll send out a show next week as well. You may see some replays or some other things that are in the hopper coming up. But we hope you guys use this, take this, share this with somebody else. Remember the spoiler alerts in it. Always make sure that you guys are subscribing to everything. Here's the deal. Make sure you're checking this out. We're going to be sending out a special URL in the comments so that you guys can use that for 25% off strokes gained. We love you guys. Thanks for checking out the Here's the Deal podcast.